It's very important when you're looking at your first set of employees for any startup is to look at people who are very comfortable with working in an environment that's completely unstructured, an environment that has little direction. So typically, the skill sets to look for in the first set of employees are those that are folks that are very passionate. I think what's important is to get the right set of folks who are passionate about what the entrepreneur is doing, as well as somebody who can work, who's a self-starter and can work in an unstructured environment. Most startups, entrepreneurs are very busy trying to build product, trying to get their first set of customers, and so they're looking for a set of employees that can actually go ahead and create opportunities without getting too much direction. So the first skill set that's very important is working in an unstructured environment. The second skill set, which is very, very important, which a lot of entrepreneurs actually miss out on, is can this person scale over time with the organization to be able to manage people under him or her? And that is something which I guess is important, because a lot of startups go through growth very quickly, and they find that the employees, the first set of employees who are hired initially, are now unable to scale with the company and manage people under them as the company grows. And that creates a dilemma for the entrepreneur, because the person who was good for the job on day one may not be good for the same job on day 5 or year 2 or year 3, and that creates a bit of friction between the employees and the entrepreneur. So the advice is two things to look for in a first set of employees: somebody who's a self-starter and believes in the space the entrepreneur is focused on, and two, somebody who is able to scale and manage people over time. The best way to source these candidates are via referrals. I think the most important way to look for candidates, especially the first of employees, are via referrals, because there's a lot of ups and downs in a startup, and if you come with the referral, you generally end up retaining the person much longer, because the person generally has an emotional bond with somebody in the company who they joined the company for. And so it's typically important if you can get your first set of employees through referrals. If you cannot, then obviously there are various recruiting organizations that focus primarily on trying to hire people for startups. But I would suggest to typically look for people who are younger and hungrier in the startup environment than people who are more secure and stable in their previous jobs, because the environment of a startup can be chaotic, can be uncertain, and typically what we have found is the folks who have spent too much time in a structured environment find it harder to transition to an unstructured environment. There are many innovative ways that we've seen folks, especially in the technology area, actually go out there and try to create different kinds of hackathons or different kinds of contests that get the young students as well as recent graduates excited towards participating in certain problem solving. And that creates a sort of bond, and they're typically done by people in a company and they typically go to their alma mater or the college they graduated from, and that creates an initial emotional bond, saying, hey, I know this person who was my senior in my college. He's working for an unknown startup and he's creating a competition for that startup. Let me go see if I can participate, and that's how the first bond is created. And then with the competition, you judge the skills of the person, and then you end up hiring the person. That's one way of actually recruiting tech talent. The other way of recruiting, which I've seen, which also has worked, is you typically offer an employee referral program within your company, where you actually go ahead and you tell anybody you know internally that if you can bring on somebody who's got the passion and the ability, just like the person in the company, that you will actually reward them with not just typically financially, but reward them in ways that are outside finances. Could be, for example, you can reward them with a project that they are interested in doing outside the office. You can reward them with things like we'll put you on a community bulletin board on an online company site, etc., etc. But I think I would say that there are obviously the other very, very innovative tools people keep using are all your networks across, whether it be people are using Twitter, LinkedIn, etc. But those, I think, have become now mainstream more than they have earlier. And so I think I would say that the real innovation is if you're able to go and tap out and reach out to people at colleges or right outside colleges, you will be pleasantly surprised how they can scale much faster in a startup. We've also seen situations where a lot of the companies actually are going to tier 2 and tier 3 towns and are saying, I will go and pick the hungriest and the most passionate students out of tier 2 and tier 3 colleges, because they are the ones actually who are self-starters, because sort of destiny has made them hungrier, given that they haven't got the access to the same corporate world that tier 1 college would have. And so they're very hungry, very bright, and they've actually gone and created recruiting waves in tier 2 and tier 3.